I landed a job in UX design without any education, any bootcamp, or any training. But yes, that was 15 years ago. And now you might be thinking, what do you even know about landing a job right now in the situation we are in? But since I'm very experienced right now, I do hiring and interviewing for the companies I worked at. Currently, I'm working as a principal product designer at Zalando, for example. And I know what strategies work to land a job and what does not work. And surprisingly, those strategies are not much different from what I used 15 years ago to land my first design job. So let me walk you through the strategies that I know will bring results. My name is Ines, my channel is about UX design, subscribe. Now, the first thing I would do right now to land a job as a junior UX designer is I would make my UI as good as it's humanly possible. And that is really a core problem for many people. And it used to be a very big problem for me 15 years ago. And yes, 15 years ago, the visual design bar was not so high as it is right now. But if you think about that, we had voluminous designs. We had to almost create 3D designs to make it look trendy. And there was a skill in it. It was really hard to achieve as well. We might not find it modern right now, but at that time, that was what industry wanted. And I had to train myself for a really long time to achieve this level. Now, luckily, we don't have to create those fake 3D objects just using the 2D tools, but still, there is a training in UX design that you need to be doing. And why UI design is so important? Because UX design, user experience design, is a team exercise. Many people in a company care and influence user experience. By the way, how founders are driving the product, how marketing team is advertising that, and how well the product managers are coordinating the efforts inside of the team, and by the way, how engineers are doing their job. It is all counts to user experience. But only product UX UI designers are influencing the visual user interface part. That's why, despite of our profession being called UX UI design, we care and influence user interface the most. And we have to have this core function done properly in order to then expand and influence user experience together with everybody. So basically, you have to become a user interface designer, UI designer, and only then you will become a user experience designer. And knowing that as a junior UX designer, I would make it my priority. Luckily, right now, there are a lot of ways to learn UI design, so this information is available, a lot of courses, a lot of free materials. Let me know if you need a video from me about how I would train my UI design skills if I would do this right now. But although there is no redundancy in that sort of information, I still see how junior UX designers are not prioritizing user interface, visual design skills, and are struggling to find a job. And it is especially important right now as we have a lot of people looking for a job together with you, and you just need a way to stand out. A good thing is that your visual UI design skills will help you with everything else in your profession and in your hiring processes, because it will become easier for you to produce different solutions for different challenges. It will become easier for you to do whiteboard challenges during interview process and take home design challenges. So this is definitely a thing I would make my priority if I would have to find a job as a junior UX designer right now. Now, the second thing I would prioritize as a junior UX designer is that I would make my portfolio as animated as possible. I would even make sure that everything that I have there, every visual, is animated. Because see, animations is actually a very simple way to stand out. Because we are humans, we love moving objects, they catch our attention. And the digital experience has become way more interactive and animated in the recent years. And in my opinion, animations and micro animations are absolutely essential to succeed in UX design right now and also moving forward. Because as our devices are becoming more powerful and the internet connection is becoming more reliable year over year, we tend to animate objects and do more interactions. So if you can demonstrate this skill right now, this will definitely catch an eye of a hiring manager and of a recruiter. Also, many people don't have time to animate projects in their portfolio, me included actually, and this is an easy way for you to stand out. So knowing that, I would spend more time as a junior UX designer working on my portfolio. Now, while animating my portfolio, I would also want to make sure that the case studies I have there are solving the actual problems. And I don't mean that they have to be done for real companies. That's always nice, but there are some challenges coming from working with clients as well, and especially if you are a junior UX designer, usually the clients that you are able to get, they are probably not the best. Instead, I would make sure that I solve problems for real products. For example, I would take products that I use every day, like Instagram or YouTube, and I would find there something that is not working for me personally, or I would find an idea that I would wish they had, and I would just do a project for that. In my opinion, this is the most preferable way for junior UX designers to train their skills, because there are many advantages in that. First, projects for well-known companies, they catch eyes of recruiters and hiring managers, because they immediately recognize the branding, and that makes them interested in what you are there to offer. Second, even when they see that this is a fake project, they are usually not disappointed, because they know the products and they can judge in a better way if what you are offering there makes sense. Say I am as a hiring manager, I'm using Instagram as well, and I'm opening a portfolio of a junior UX designer and see a project for Instagram where this person offers to add podcasts in Instagram, for example. I immediately can judge if this is a valid idea, if this is solved in a way that I would use that, and that also provides me a better idea of what this UX designer can offer. In addition to that, I can also see how good is this person in the problem finding, because it's often the most important challenge in businesses to find what should you focus exactly. And by the way, this designer provides the rationale, I can also judge this skill. So if I were about to find a job as a junior UX designer right now, this is what I would do: fake projects for real companies. One more thing, I would also make sure I talk with real people, because it's also easier to find real users for the products everybody uses. And by having this evidence and documentation indicating that I talked with real users, I can also show that I know how to work with the real world frictions and limitations. By the way, if you like this video so far, give me thumbs up and hit the subscribe button down below. That's important for me and for YouTube algorithms. And we're moving on. Now, everything that I said before was about my projects and my portfolio. Now it's time to focus on my job search. And the thing number 4 I would do right now to land an entry-level UX job is that I would be cold emailing the local tech companies. And at this point you might be, wow, I would never do that. It's like cold emailing, such a horrible thing. But first of all, this is what I did 15 years ago to find my first job. And that worked like a charm. And I actually found my second job in the same way. So this tool works. And you might be thinking like, well, 15 years ago, the situation on the job market was different. So how can we do this right now? Is it even make sense? And I must tell to you that local small companies are always suffering with attracting talents, because they have to compete with big companies in everything. They can't even advertise their job openings on the platform like LinkedIn, just because you have to pay to LinkedIn to be visible. Otherwise, you will be just thrown to the end of the list, and many candidates, they will never see your opening. And I know that for sure because I'm being contacted by small business owners almost weekly. And if you follow me for some time already, you know that I forward those requests to my job searching UX club. The link will be down below under this video. So if you are interested in those job requests and also in some job searching coaching from me, check out this link. But every time those companies contact me, they share the same story. It's very hard for them to acquire talent. It's almost like they are starving on a market when there are plenty of food. So why are those companies struggling? Indeed, they are mostly struggling because they can't pay talent the same money as tech companies would do. So this is what I personally did 15 years ago, and it is something I would do right now without hesitation. The problem for many people here is that you really need to lower your expectations and to calm down your ego, because you will be sending hundreds of emails, and it's the best practice when the email is tailored for the company. So you will have to invest a lot of time without hearing anything in return. And yes, this could be quite daunting, but in my opinion, when you are just starting out on anything, it's good to be humble. You still don't know much. You will be continuing your education at the expense of your first few employers. And they also know that they will have to, in some ways, sacrifice quality in order to teach you how to become a UX designer. Big tech companies might not be in favor for this deal because they can pick any candidate from a big pool of very well-trained professionals. But for small companies, this is a fantastic deal, and this is a fantastic deal for you because you will get to paid while learning and they will get some work done. At my first few jobs, I was earning very little money. And I was grateful for that because I appreciated this deal at the first place. But unfortunately, many people who have finished modern bootcamps, they are expecting to be paid big money right after the bootcamp. And I'm blaming the modern bootcamps for not managing these expectations well. But if you are right now struggling to find a job, it might be that you are looking for a job that will pay all your bills and will secure the future of your family just from the day one. I personally don't believe this is how the industry works. After you finish any education, any bootcamp in tech, you will still have a lot of things to learn. And I see it as an advantage to be paid at least anything for being able to learn. So if you also have this attitude right now, I congratulate you. Probably for you, landing the first job will not be such a struggle because you are really humble and you can reach out to companies saying, hey, I have many things to learn, but if you will be willing to pay me at least something, I assure you I will be doing the best that I can and I will learn fast. And companies, especially small ones, they love this attitude. So I would start sending really personal, cold emails to the local companies. I will be preparing myself that this might take a while, but at the end, I will get a fantastic deal for being able to learn what I want to learn and being paid for that at least some money. And the last thing I would do myself if I had to find an entry-level job in UX design right now is that I would polish my interview skills. When I started in UX design 15 years ago, I noticed right away that if I articulate my decisions well, if I'm being confident in what I do, that makes it easier for other people to be confident in my UX skills as well. Because very few people on the planet are trained to assess visual design, and even less people can assess the UX design skills. But everybody can judge soft skills because we are trained to interact with other people since we are children, and this is something the human brain picks up immediately. And it is especially important in the beginning of one's career. And if I will be reaching out to small local companies, I will be most likely talking with business owners. And I can almost guarantee they have no idea how to judge your portfolio. And it does not mean they don't value design. It does not mean that they have a bad product. They are just busy by their day-to-day business things. In bigger companies, there are multiple designers. They do cross-checks, and that's why founders, they can be not involved in this at all. But for small companies, as I said, it is very important, and the only way they can judge how good is your design is by the way how you articulate it. A good thing is that if you are switching from another career, you might already have the substantial skill in it and you don't really need to train it. But when I was starting, I was completely new, just fresh out of the high school. And I had to train myself in new. But of course, 15 years ago, the market was very different. So I was able to train myself through having a lot of job interviews. Right now, we are not given a lot of chances. So what I would do if I had to train my job interview skills is that I would do mock interviews on some courses or with mentors, just to make sure that I'm using every chance that I'm given to talk with the real person about the job that they are offering. And I'm leveraging and using those chances to its maximum. So these are 5 things I would do myself if I had to find an entry-level UX design job right now. So first, I would polish my UI design skills. Second, I would make my portfolio as animated and as interactive as it is possible. Third, I would do fake projects but for real products and with real users. Fourth, I would humble myself and start cold emailing to local small businesses. And finally, I would work on my job interview skills because I know that being persuasive can also help me to sell my designs. That was it for today. I hope this video was helpful. Let me know in the comments what my next video should be about. And if you like this video and you want to receive more videos like that, hit the subscribe button down below. I see you next time.